Welcome back. Ari Melba here live in New Hampshire, where Bernie Sanders holds a big lead, up 17 points. That's this morning in the new 7 News UMass Lowell tracking poll. And of course, with just 2 days left until the primary, that is a good place to be for him. Hillary Clinton has gained supporters, though, in that poll in the days since the Iowa caucuses, when they finished neck and neck. Hillary Clinton winning by just a couple of delegates there. Sanders has pretty much held onto his own level of support, though, in the low 60s, high 70s. Now, if Bernie Sanders does win convincingly here in New Hampshire on Tuesday, then of course South Carolina becomes crucial in his efforts to hold on to any momentum outside of these early small states. For Hillary Clinton, it could be her firewall. Now, that contest, the first with lots of diversity in the electorate. Take a look at the NBC News poll that is most recent here. She is up in all demographics, but her big lead with black voters is of key significance. They are, of course, a majority of the South Carolina Democratic electorate. Now, recently, 28 African-American ministers pledged their support to Clinton, and more endorsements, her campaign says, are on the way. So we bring back the panel here, Jason and Annie, and also you think about this and you say, okay, Hillary Clinton has become, with regard to the demographic destiny, the Barack Obama of this cycle.
Exactly. And it's interesting to me how she absolutely ruined her relationship with the black vote 8 years ago with her comments both before and after. Well, I need to be here if something happens to Barack Obama. Bill Clinton made statements. But she has really worked in the last 8 years to improve her relationships with the Congressional Black Caucus, with pastors, and lots of different groups. Bernie Sanders isn't winning South Carolina, and it's in large part because he got a tall hill to climb with black voters.
Yeah, but, you know, I will say we just did a story on the front page of today's Boston Globe and looked at his South Carolina operation. And one of the things that was fascinating is they're hiring a huge number of African-American organizers and paying them that $15 an hour minimum wage that he's been talking about on the campaign trail. And when I was in South Carolina for the debate, there were, I believe it was Clyburn who I was talking to, and he was really stunned by Bernie Sanders' operation and the people who are going door to door in rural South Carolina and looking for votes. So I don't think anybody thinks he's going to win. I think for him in South Carolina, if he can move that number a little bit and just show that he can expand his support, if he can, I think it's,
you know, it's funny.
I think he stops there, quite frankly.
It's always complex. I love when people are like, well, what's going to happen with the black vote, Jason? It's like, what's going to happen with the white vote? Right? Do you ask that question? So, of course, it's layered. Of course, there's different motivators. But in I think, a minority-oriented politics, relationships matter and policy matters. You have two people here who, the Democratic Party is in a different place on a lot of these issues, especially on policing, on the notion of standing up for questionable police misconduct, even though, as I think was fairly pointed out in the debate last night, most officers aren't accused of any misconduct. But in the cases where they are, in many parts of this country, there isn't a serious criminal investigation. There isn't any attempt to really deal with it. That's been controversial. And yet, this is where I'm going with my question, Bernie Sanders has pulled out some, unchallenged credential endorsements like Ben Jealous, and we can put up his letter. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he's out there. And yet, on the other hand, we see Cornel West, who's not exactly popular with your Obama-based constituency in the black community.
Well, you've also seen what I like to call this sort of tragedy primary that's been going on, tragedy endorsement primary, where people who are connected with some of the most violent deaths and some of these high-profile criminal justice cases are going out for endorsements. So, you know, Ben Crump, who was connected to the Zimmerman trial, he's come out for Hillary Clinton, and the lawyer for Walter Scott went from Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders. So there's this belief
and someone in the Garner family
exactly, and the Garner family as well. So
what does that say to you?
Well, it says to me that, at least in Sanders' case, he's like, look, I think this is a way that I can show empathy, because here's the real fact going on here. Bernie Sanders has been in Congress for 30-something years. The fact that he doesn't have a better relationship with many people in the Congressional Black Caucus, it's a problem, because he should have known them. He was in the Senate. He was in Congress. He had a better opportunity to do it. So he's got a lot of ground to make up, and I think that's something that Hillary's really hammering him on.
I think you make a great point. I think it's fascinating. It's going to be interesting in South Carolina, where the issue is paramount, but it's also going to be something we saw in the debate, which is, you know, the best Hillary Clinton hit against Bernie Sanders isn't, well, you're unrealistic, because, you know, I don't think people want to hear that. I think it's that when she says he doesn't work on the issues that he doesn't have a demonstrated interest in. And in Vermont, maybe because of the demographics, that has been civil rights for a long time. No demonstrated interest on foreign policy. MIA. I mean, I thought we were talking about
Foreign
Madeleine
policy,
Albright
yeah.
on feminism. It was more important to me when Madeleine Albright said, she goes, he's been in Congress 30 years. I've never seen him in a briefing.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I don't know this guy.
I think that is a more devastating argument for him, particularly at foreign policy. On that debate the other night, the Democratic debate, I thought that was just a horrible moment for him when he was just sort of stuttering about, you know, this like word salad about North Korea. And he needs to be able to answer that question. I mean, he needs to be able to sound
and have
much
that,
better. Yeah.
And have that breadth. Annie Linsky and Jason Johnson, thank you both for being here. Appreciate it.